The drag racing season for the NMRA Spring Nationals kicks off, and John Uris, the defending MSD Super Street Outlaw champion, hopes to hold on to his title, but Manny Bajinga is back. He's the 2005 champion. It'll be a great showdown. Drag racing next, NMRA style next.
Welcome everybody to the revamped Bradenton Motorsports Park in Bradenton, Florida. And if it's early springtime and a warm sunny weekend surrounded by Mustangs, then inside drag racing must be at the 6th annual NMRA Nitto Tires Ford Spring Nationals. It's the opening event of the 2000 season NMRA Ford Drag Racing Tour that indeed annually presents some of the quickest and fastest Ford door slamming drag racing, and as a matter of fact, some of the quickest and fastest Outlaw 10.5 racing that you'll see anywhere. As a matter of fact, qualifying at this event led up to a couple of new world records right off the bat. The Diablo Sport Pro 5.0 division, plus, of course, the Super Street Outlaws, and, of course, the BF Goodrich Drag Radial Division were definitely the focal points of attention at this race. As a matter of fact, let's start off the highlights with Diablo Sport Pro 5.0. Easily the most astonishing race in all of Pro 5.0 competition at this meet came in the very first round of competition when number one qualifier Bert Kelkboom and his Aruba-based Ford Escort lined up against unheralded Don Schoeneck and a broken, and I do mean broken, Outlaw 10.5-inch tire car. Schoeneck had qualified on the bump but suffered damage when he did so, and in this opening round match, he couldn't even leave the starting line. But don't tell Bert Kelkboom, who took the number one qualifier to a 0.2 of a second red light and put himself out against a car that couldn't even leave the line. But the other side of the ladder included a titanic matchup between Mike Hoff, the reigning NMRA Drag Racing Pro 5.0 world champion in his Ford Mustang from Iowa, against Tony Bischoff, who had won all 5 drag races that he entered in 2006 with his nitrous-aided Mercury Cougar. Now bear in mind that one day before this matchup, Diablo Sport paid $5,000 to the top 8 points earners, racing heads up, of course, for a special shootout program before eliminations began. In that drag race, Hoff hole shot Bischoff to win the money. But believe it or not, he did it twice. In the semifinals, a 668 at 210 coupled to a nearly perfect .004 reaction time beat Bischoff's 662 at 212 by all of 2/100ths of a second. David Shore and his Kansas City, Missouri-based EFI naturally aspirated Ford Escort ripped through the other side of the ladder, running 660s all day long, and indeed missed lane choice by all of 0.005 of a second for that all-important final round, which should be a good one. And then there was the BF Goodrich Drag Radial Division, always the scariest category to watch at any NMRA Ford drag racing event, including the Nitto Tire Spring Nationals. But this time around, there were world records at stake when both the number 1 and 2 qualifiers came within 0.05 of a second of the magic 7-second zone. As a matter of fact, the number 1 qualifier, John Kalivas, also the reigning world champion, his white Ford Mustang ran 8:11 at 174 in the first round, 8:12 at 174 in the second round, and 8:13 at 174 in the third round, defeating Chad Doyle. But on the other side of the ladder, the driver qualified only 1/100th of a second behind Kalivas' 8:04. Chris Tootin ran 8:09 176, followed by an 8:19 at 176. In this semifinal battle against Joey Bridges' modular motored Mustang, Chad unleashed the big one on the hottest track surface of the day, an 8:02 with a 0 at 177.86 miles per hour will match up the world's 2 quickest real 10.5 DOT tire equipped drag racers in what could be one of the greatest drag races of the season at the very first race. And then, of course, there's MSD Super Street Outlaw, and there was a big addition to this drag race. It was the return of previous NMRA MSD Super Street Outlaw world champion Manny Bajinga, driving the DeSantisCars.com turbocharged Mustang. Bajinga qualified number 1 at 7.53 seconds, but it was in eliminations that we saw some of the greatest battles of this drag race. Bajinga, always trying to hook up his heavily overpowered turbo machine, was in the 7.8 second zone in the first round. But in the second round against Zach Posey's Pro Charger equipped machine, Bajinga stepped up to a 759 at an amazing 191.69 miles per hour. But in that round also, Sam Vincent's nitrous-injected Ford Mustang out of Kentucky came within 1/1000th of a second of Bajinga's low qualifying time, winning with a brutal 7.538 second run over 196 mile per hour top speed setter Yanni Papakosmas out of Connecticut. Reigning world champ John Uris hit a best of 772 in the first 2 rounds, and Don Burton ran 759. before moving into the semifinal round where those two met. The New Mexicans Procharger-equipped Mustang outrunning Burton's nitrous car 770 at 188 to a 775 at 181. But then, Bajinga and Sam Vincent matched up in one of the great drag races in the history of this class. Bajinga's worst reaction time of the day came up at .029 seconds, but Vincent left first at .015. Bajinga was behind all the way down the drag strip until the last 100 feet where the turbocharger came on strong and won 758 at 193 miles per hour to a losing 760 at 188. And as he prepares for the final round against the reigning world champion Manny Bajinga, you cannot tell me that you had any clue not only who won, but that you even were capable of getting there first in that drag race. 22 ten-thousandths of a second down there.
Yeah, it was a real close race. We had no idea whatsoever.
I don't even want to hear what you were screaming in that car when you were looking at the back end of him all the way down.
Man, we just race our own race, and we look at down the track, our own lane, and we had no idea.
Well, it's up to you to change the routine now with John Urist having dominated this in 2006. But then again, that's what you did the year before.
Well, it's when the stars, the moons, everything lines up perfect. It's unstoppable. I mean, we'll do the best we can with this ride, and hopefully we come out, and I'll see you in the end of the track.
That's indeed what he hopes, and same for John Urist in the Nudo Tires Ford Mustang. But bear in mind, when these two get together, you are talking the best NMRA has had to offer for the last couple of seasons. So plentiful excitement is on tap for this battle.
Inside Drag Racing is brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment, the World Speed Shop, and by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology, and by Moroso Performance Products, race proven Moroso.